Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, you know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannons. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Whatever you ride, ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a massive night of racing here on the SRWtv channel. It's a brand new series here for being broadcasted. It is the Warren & Brown Tools IMSA Shadow series. As I've just realised the overlays are stopped working, so now we've got to do another reload. But once we can get them up and rolling, I will then bring them up. But joining me here tonight is a new commentator on the SRWtv world. But if you are familiar with any of my work, you will recognise him from when we did IMSA together. It is Jack Anderson. Jack Oz. An exciting series for sure, and one that we are very familiar with in terms of the car classes, car choices, and the driving style that these drivers are going to have to put into place tonight.
We definitely are. It's looking like a good season ahead of us. Good turnout tonight with looking like 17 GTPs and 16 GT3s. And we are definitely definitely well versed in this type of series: multi-class, GTP, GT3s, SIMSA, and yeah, it
I mean,
looks like it's going to be a good one. I'm excited.
on the weekend of the iRacing official Petite Le Mans series as well, this could not be a better time for us to get into a racing series like this. I mean, IMSA have got, I believe, 3 rounds left this season. Obviously the last official calendar race for iRacing, that is an actual IMSA race, is the Petite Le Mans, which is happening tomorrow for iRacing official races out there. So this is going to be a good test and a good practice, I guess you could say, for any of the drivers that want to actually tackle that race tomorrow, being that this race is only 45 minutes. It's basically a stint length. So these drivers are not going to be tested too much, but it's going to be a test having to try and drive through the traffic here tonight, especially with those GT3s out there.
100%. Traffic management is going to be the big key factor in who comes out on top tonight.
Yeah, I think, and I guess it's always the same when it's multi-class. It is one of those things that is always a test for drivers, and we said it a lot when we were broadcasting SIMSA, that it is important for these drivers to stay predictable, no matter what class they're in, because you're eventually going to have a faster driver coming up behind you, trying to overtake you, and trying to, do their best to kind of take you at any point that they can. So, I mean, this Road Atlanta circuit, I've called it many times the pork chop of race circuits, just based on its shape and layout. But, I mean, it's known for a lot of different types of racing, not just sports car racing. MotoGP, even Formula D comes here as well. I guess, what might be some of the things that these drivers need to be careful of, and some of the driving techniques that actually need to be put in place when going around this circuit here tonight?
From my experience, definitely the slower class cars just driving on their racing line, being as predictable as they can be, and let the faster cars get around them rather than moving out of the way to try and give them the apex. It makes it a lot more predictable, a lot less crashes, and definitely got to be careful of the bottom of the S's here. I believe it's turn 5. It definitely bites very hard, and good overtaking opportunity down at 10A and 10B at the chicane, at the bottom of the back straight.
Yeah, at the start of the Formula D section, kind of where they come back into that sort of, it's almost halfway through the third sector of this track. I mean, I called it the pork chop. Hopefully not too many of these drivers get grilled by us here tonight for some of their driving standards. Hopefully we can have a nice, clean race, as we can see in the background. Just a couple of the drivers going off into the grass as they attempt to finish their practice laps. We've got around about 5 minutes of practice left. Then we can get into the half an hour of qualifying, and then we get into the 45-minute race. It's going to be a long night, but it's going to be a fun night for racing, and it's great to have some multi-class action back on sim racing fans' screens, not only just in Australia, but possibly even around the world, as we do have a bit of an international flavour in our league. We have an English driver in Jordan Ferguson and a US driver in Sean Benici out there, as well as a couple of New Zealand drivers, and of course the mainstays being the Australians who race in this series, being that it is an Australian-based league. But I guess, looking at some of the driver list, who do you think could be some of the standouts for both of their classes? Do we think Ty Delaney's going to be able to make his way up through the fields? Currently sitting third in practice. Can he put a challenge up to those big boys like he's been doing in the Pro-Am and in the amateur series in the past as well?
Oh, I think there's definitely a chance. You can't ever discount any of the Fishy Motorsport cars. They were always fast in whatever they drive. Thomas Freeman seems very fast. Adam Hughes in the GT3s as well. But yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting to see who comes out on top, as it's not all just about outright pace in these multi-class races.
Well, I mean, the whole field pretty much, in GTP, for example, they're separated by around about 2 to 2.5 seconds on their lap times at the moment, and that just comes from the skill spread that's out there. in GTP. GT3s, on the other hand, they are separated by quite a fair bit. They're separated by around about 7 seconds from P1 in class at the moment, all the way down to, I believe it's I want to say 12 in class. But, I mean, there's a good even spread of drivers, good even spread of car types out there. And I think it's going to be, really, really good to see what SRW's take is on multi-class racing. This is now also one of the first multi-class series that's actually gone onto our screen, since we now are able to have all 4 types of GTP cars on iRacing in the same race, as well as 12 available car types in a race. Now, because our safety car is a live safety car that takes away 1 possible car type, means that we're allowed to have 11 different cars in our race series. So this is going to be really, really good just to stretch the capabilities of this series. And I think, there could be a little bit of a boost maybe to the Acura and to the Porsche. I think that even when the Cadillac came out, though, the BMW was still pretty competitive. So I don't know what it's going to be like since those cars have actually now been released.
Yeah, it all comes down to just what feels comfortable for each driver. I know personally, for me, the Porsche or the BMW feels the most comfortable, and a couple of the drivers like the Acura and the Caddy, and they all have their own unique feel to them, which is great. It brings out a new flavour to the racing.
Yeah, and I think it can lead to a lot of drivers' strengths being released from within them. They may not have been so comfortable with the BMW when it first came out. And the Cadillac comes out, maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable, but now they have a choice of 4 different cars, being the Caddy, the Porsche, the BMW, and the Acura. There's got to be something for everyone in that sort of spread. Now, there are obviously rumours of maybe getting the Lamborghini in when that releases, being that it will be an IMSA car. I doubt we're ever going to see the WEC cars, since their license has now gone into themselves and they're having their own game. So I doubt we ever get the Ferrari or the Peugeot, for example. But I think, what is on offer at the moment is exceptional for sports car racing fans and sports car sim racing fans as well, because it just gives us so much variety in what we can actually drive.
Oh, 100%. Especially in the GT3s as well, you get the newly updated Ferrari 296, which was actually a pretty big surprise for me. I didn't expect that to come, at least for a while.
Yeah, I was more or less expecting an update for the Audi or or even the McLaren before we even saw that. That was definitely really out of left field. I even thought maybe we'll get an updated Lambo or even get the Lexus in there, but there are rumors and talkings of certain IMSA GT3 cars that are on offer in that league that could be coming into iRacing. I mentioned it, the Lexus, or even a couple of other options that are out there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how these things expand and how things change, of course. There's probably 3 cars in that current GT3 option, being the Ford, the McLaren. Actually, it might only be 2 cars that are really, really out of date. That could just be swap and change for the new cars that could be put in.
Yeah, you got the Lambo. I think there's a new evolution of it. There's the Audi GT Evo 3. You definitely have the new McLaren, because that thing is pretty ancient. But
Yeah.
and they don't run the 4GT now, obviously. Mustang would be cool. That was what I was hoping would be added.
Yeah, I think that would be something that would at least give us something new and different, having a Ford Mustang out there. It's slightly different shape, slightly different car type as well. I am hopeful that we get the Corvette in the GT3 class at some point, but I think what is on offer right now is actually quite exceptional, although they do just continue to update the same manufacturers over and over again and don't give us new cars for new car manufacturers for the GT classes. I think the last brand new manufacturer that was actually added, would that have been the Lambo when that came out, or would it have been it wouldn't have been the BMW because it had the Z4. So I feel like it was the Lambo that was actually the last brand new manufacturer that was actually added into the GT3 class when that came out.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that. Yeah, it would have had to have been the Lamborghini.
Okay, well, as we get into qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, the GT3 cars are out there at the moment. They get, I believe it'll be 15 minutes for them to set their best lap time, and then we will see the GTP cars get out there and have a crack as well. We've got a nice little spread at the moment. A couple of drivers struggling on their out laps, but hopefully we can see just some times get onto the board. You know, what's really important is at the start of qualifying is just getting that banker lap in, you know, getting it.
Oh, big spin, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Big
That's
spin
okay.
for Adam Hughes at the bottom of the S's.
As he's just gone back into the lane. So we'll just see what's actually happened to him here. So he's come down towards turn 5, clips the curb, and it just undulates the car massively. And that's one of the biggest problems I find with those mid-engine and rear-engine cars is you just get a little bit of, you know, undulation under it, and it just seems to spit you out sideways when you are trying to have a crack on a lap.
Guess you could say it's right out sideways.
Got Title Annie in the chat as well saying, "Go boys, Ty. Good luck tonight, mate. We know what you can do. You are
flamboyant style.
That is a massive incident there for Harry Dodds, who has actually managed to set a lap time of 1:18.39. I've just realised I'm not actually showing the timing tower, so we can now actually get that on screen. But Mitch McIntyre actually, no, Mitch did the 18.39. Harry did the 18.56. So these times are coming out as fast and furious right now. They'd almost feel like they've got family and Coronas out there, Jackos, that they're coming at us that fast. But I wonder how many gears they're going to be able to run through down the straight.
Sometimes I do not miss commentating with you, my friend.
Oh, I don't get to give as many... I don't normally get a chance to give as many sort of movie references and puns and stuff out there because I know that you'll at least, you know, ride off him a little bit, where when I normally do it with Cowie, he's like, you know, we're kind of just talking about the more technical side of sim racing and, you know, and even just racing in general. But I think it's always good just to have a little bit of laugh. It could be worse. I could be mentioning Curry all the time, like my good friend Scott Rankin does for SimSpeed, but at least you're getting stuff that is, you know, it actually has to do with what is happening on screen in terms of cars. So
should I start our tradition early?
Yeah, what is it?
Pineapple or pizza?
Oh my god, of course. Well, might as well get out of the way. It's a... I've actually changed.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't ever order pizza with pineapple on it. But when, if my mum gets a pizza with a lot on it and she gives me the leftovers, I'll eat it with the pineapple on it. It's actually not that bad, but I'm yet to order myself a pizza with pineapple on it. So one other thing I do have as well with Cowie normally is we try and decide how many safety cars we think we're actually going to get on a night of racing. I'll hand it over to you, Jack Oz, to give your prediction first.
I'm going to guess 3 at least.
Okay, so if I can think back to last time we raced here in sports cars is when the GT series was still running. I think we had 4 that night.
I unfortunately caused one.
Yeah. So I think being that it's multi-class, some of the drivers that are out there, I think we could see 4. That could be something that actually does happen tonight. But would not be surprised if we saw 3 or even if we saw more than 4. But 45 minutes, I think that's surely going to be enough time for at least 4. That's 1 every 10 minutes, being that we can't have one with 5 minutes to go. Yeah, I'll be lenient and fair, and I'll say 4. So, but currently, as we stand, Stephen Brooks is on the top of the timing tower with a 1:18.38. Mitch McIntyre, that's a massive slide from Stephen after setting his fastest lap in the session. Mr. Drifter, what have you done?
Sent it a little bit hard there, bud.
Yeah, he did. He sent that a little bit hard there. You can't park there, sir. We've got Mitch McIntyre, P2 at the moment in the session. Harry Dodds, currently P3. Although I've just realised Mitch McIntyre's not actually in my list, so I'll have to add him so he actually gets added to the tower. That means I'm going to have to reload everything again, but that is fine. It's okay. We can fix this.
Keep telling yourself that, Hamish.
I will. It's fine. I didn't have an entry list because no one actually gave what cars they were going to be driving before they actually joined. So, there we go. Now we got Mitch on the list. And if it goes away again, I know how to fix it. It's okay. Harry Dodd's at the moment P4 in the session as Thomas Freeman has actually gone top of the timing table for Fishy Motorsport here. 1 minute 18.13. We get to see a driver get into the 17s, but they're getting ultra close. And I think the more this track grips up, maybe with a toe, we could see someone just creep into that 17 range. Or, as I mentioned, that Greg Barber goes a 118.08. So we are etching closer and closer, Jackos, to the dreaded 17s. We saw some of them in practice, but no one has managed to pull everything out of their car that they can just to drop below those 118s yet.
Yeah, they'd be kicking themselves if they got a 18-0 like Barber did there.
It's literally a momentary mishap of the throttle input, although Adam Hughes has just gone 2 purple sectors, and he is the first into the 17s. As we mentioned, 17.79 from Hughesy to put it up onto provisional pole at the moment for the GT3s. Mitch McIntyre, though, looking to better his last time. He's gotten 2 green sectors at the moment as he flows around the final corner. Jackals, let's see what he does. He is unable to better it. He gets an 18.48. Jake Edwards giving his love for Adam Hughes in there. I mean, how could you not show some love for him? He's got some great pace in this car, and he just can provide some phenomenal racing to watch. So I wonder, Jackos, how Frog Leap has actually managed to pick up American Sean Benucci into their team. I wonder if he's an Australian-based American or if he's actually an American-based American.
Yeah, it's kind of like that would be kind of like how we picked up Jordan. But no, Frog Leap have grown so much in the last year or two. It's great to see local teams, even they're not Australian but local to our continent, grow and do really well. It's great to see.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard a bad thing about Frog Leap in recent memory. I think their drivers are just super respectable on track. I mean, some of them may have their moments sometimes in terms of incidents, as we just dropped for a second here from some of the cars, but they are now back on track. That was a massive crash, though. Patrick Frame coming up through, I think it was 5-6. Let's quickly get it on the replay. I've just realised we haven't actually got any car sounds at the moment. There we go. Now we got it. And he's just gone too wide there. And again, that classic thing of a bit of undulation on a mid-engine car, and it just shoots it off the track and into the wall once again.
A dangerous turn 5 bites again.
So the driver's
very easy to lose it there.
Oh, very easy. I mean, I've done it multiple times in a multitude of cars, and it is just so easy. You know, you push that little bit too hard, go a little bit too wide to do it. But Adam Hughes at the moment, look at this. 2 purple sectors at the moment. Could he be on for a third? This could be an absolute blinder of a lap here from the, I think he's from CXR, from the CXR driver. As he comes up over the hill. He's gone orange, so he's at least matched his best. But how does he do when he crosses the line? He goes best in the last sector for a 17.55, an immense lap time from the current pole sitter, who now ekes out his former rival Greg Barber by 0.54 of a second at the moment, Jack Oz, and that time is looking almost insurmountable for some of these drivers.
Yeah, he's gapped the field by half a second. It's pretty surreal, isn't it? You see real life drivers, they struggle to get 2 to 3 tenths up on the rest of them, and yeah, it's just immense.
It is, and I guess the kind of drivers that we are, you almost just dream about being able to hit at that sort of a level and be that consistent on your lap times. What can Greg Barber do? He's done his best first sector of the lap, but he's not able to best his time. It was a 21.78, so maybe that was just a bit of an outlap for him. But maybe we can just follow him here for this one and see how he does across this lap. nice smooth entries into these corners here. He's looking nice and tidy at the moment, Jack Oz. And we'll have to see how the splits look here for the sectors, but he'll be on for a nice and tidy lap.
He definitely looks like he's very precise as I give him a wrap.
That's going to ruin it, though.
I was going to say, he looks very precise on his inputs. Not much, not many corrections, but as I gave him the commentator's curse there.
I think we both gave it to him, to be honest. We were talking about him, we were saying he was nice and smooth, and then that happens. I mean, Thomas Freeman.
The good old Lodal special.
The good old Lodal special. So these drivers are only going to be able to go until 15 minutes into the session. So this is going to be their last sort of laps now. This is going to be the cutoff. We got 12.5 minutes into the session. That is about 2.5 minutes left in this qualifying for the GT3. So you'd have to argue it's only going to be one lap, maybe two if they're far enough around the circuit. But I tell you what, these guys, they're not looking likely they're actually going to be able to get up there. Although Freeman has actually done a 17. He's done a 17.88. He did that on his last lap to put himself in P2, but still 0.3 of a second off of Adam Hughes' pole time at the moment.
Yeah, he's done a very good job to better his time, but yeah, still only 0.3 away from Hughes' time. Hughes just on another level at the moment.
I mean, he's sitting in the lane right now, and he's coming to the pits. I reckon he may have come in maybe for some fresh tyres, might be going out there for one more run, but it's not going to be likely he's going to be able to get it completed. So it's going to be all up to Freeman if he wants to be able to best this time. He's done a better first sector. I don't think the time's going to be good enough, though, for pole position right now. And he's pulling it up, so I think that may have been his last chance as Hughes is now back out there. So I don't even think he's going to have enough time to get round for another lap.
If I was Hughes, I would just sit in the lane and assert my dominance.
That's all you can do at this point. I mean, who else is going to be able to really just bring a challenge to this? No one's gone purple, and it's looking like we've now returned to GTs on Sim Racing World TV YouTube channel, and, well, he's looking like the dominant force once again that he once was, as Barber once again has a massive crash there. So that is not what you want coming up to the top of the hill. That's twice now that he's done that. Hughes, though, is going to roll around. I don't think he's going to be able to do this lap. I'm not 100% sure, because unless he crosses the line and then they let him complete it and then let the GTPs out, but you don't want to have to get in their way. It's only 30 seconds
stop
left.
Giving people raps as they go into turn 5, Ham.
I know. I can't look at anyone when they're coming into turn 5. That's the issue. So the GTP's now beginning to go to the end of the lane to start their session. I don't know if race control's come over to say if... Oh, but Hughesy has wrecked it. That's going to be it. McCartan is over the radio. That is race control. Jack Oz, are you able to tell us what he's saying at the moment?
Yes, checkered flag for the GT3s. GTPs now go to the end of the lane, and pit lane is open. Pit lane exit is open.
So then, that means now the GTPs are now unleashed around this Road Atlanta circuit. They're going to have 15 minutes to set the best time that they can. I mean, there's some real standouts in that field. I mean, Braden Sagasar, Blake Delaney, Ty Delaney as well, and even Troy Maguire. So it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to be able to pip this lap time. I think they're going to be ultra close, though, Jack Oz, in terms of where their times are. I don't know how much spread there's going to be. As we see Jordan Ferguson just going for a massive lunge to get up to the front of the train here. He wants to be the first to cross the line on his first lap.
Yeah, he's just trying to assert his dominance, even though it is probably not going to be that much of a dominant show from him tonight, seeing that he's just jumped in with no practice.
Well, to be fair to him, he was running P5 in practice for a fair while. So it's going to be up to him now on how well his racecraft can actually hold together for this race. But as we now come round, Ferguson will be the first to cross the line here to start their qualifying lap here for the GTPs. We might even just sit with Jordan here, see how he goes on this lap. Maybe even just go on board with him. And you can just see the speed difference up through the S's at the top of the hill from him. Although he's already been pipped in the first sector by Jake Edwards. But just look at the pace discrepancy. I mean, you can just tell the difference. How much faster these cars are and how much more wild they are to control than the GT3 cars.
Oh yeah, it's a whole nother world, really. You see the speed difference on the straights, and it's just the GTPs just leave the GT3s for dead.
I mean, you could even argue maybe it's, you know, the fact they have the hybrid, but you can only deploy it 4 times a lap. So as he comes into the Formula D section, what's his lap time going to look like? This is not going to be good enough for top of the timing tower, but he will have it for a moment. How does he go as he crosses the line? He does a 7. Is he going to be pipped? Connor Nixon, though, goes top with a 6.59 at the moment. So he leads the way. Troy Maguire not quite close enough to that lap time, but again, early on in the session, tyres are cold. These lap times are only going to shrink in terms of gap at the moment, aren't they, Jackos?
Yeah, exactly. As the tyres start to get up to temperature, as there's a spin at turn 10A in Cameron Hardwick, my bad.
I'll pull that up on screen in just a moment. I've had to do a quick little reload here since I had to add a driver to my list. So we'll quickly just
I am not the best with names as of yet.
That's okay. It's okay. You know what? We all have to start somewhere, and all of us get better eventually, so it's totally fine. But I'd be interested to see how Connor can do on his second lap. I wonder actually if this has been a push lap or a bit of a cool down lap here for the second lap. I mean, you know, just to get the tires up to temp, as I mentioned, and just to kind of get used to this track and car combination. I'm not going to say these cars are made for this track. I know you were probably going to mention that, Jack Oz, but I think
I wasn't, but I will now.
The GTPs, I think, are actually made for tracks like Daytona and Le Mans, being that they're so high speed. I think these circuits are a lot more suited to the lower class sports cars like GT3s and like LMP3s and stuff like that. So, but as he's actually bettered his time as well, he's done a 106.24, so it was actually a full push lap from Connor Nixon last time by. I don't know if can anyone really bring the fight to him. I mean, we saw Maguire bring the fight to him in practice. I've just had a little bit of a dropout here. Hopefully everyone comes back. There we go. We got them back once again. A little bit of flickering here, but
huge crash in the S's. Jake Edwards.
Let's have a look here. So Ty Delaney's had a bit of a moment as well. Oh, that is massive. Ty Delaney, Jake Edwards. That is a massive shunt as they've now gone back to pits. So we can go back to live viewing. But Maguire out on track at the moment. Gowans, though, look at this. He's done a second. Oh, but he's ruined the lap. His second sector was the best of everyone. But he spun it around. And that just, it really just shows how difficult these cars are just to try and keep them in control and keep the reins on them when trying to set a good lap.
Has he tried to enter the Formula Drift section?
No, he's up at... Is he up at the final corner? He has, yeah. It looks like he's almost like gone to do... But he's done a lap around the track, so he hasn't actually done one where he's gone through the Formula Drift section. Maybe he was trying to get out the way of the drivers.
I've got to say, that's an incomplete run there.
That...
2 wheels off.
Heavily incomplete run. Oh, Ferguson's gone fastest in the first sector, but not in any other sector. Oh, he's coming back in the pits. Could have been an immense lap. Currently top 5, though, so he's actually looking quite good for the only Englishman out there. You reckon he goes full Brexit in this race?
Brexit means Brexit. Possibly, yeah. I doubt that he would go the top, but I reckon he'll have a decent showing tonight.
I think maybe depending on incidents, he could maybe sneak up there. I mean, it is very possible that a few people could sneak some, maybe a podium, maybe even a top 10 in their class, just by a bit of luck and staying clean. Because, whenever we do endurance racing, it's all about being clean. this may not be an endurance race, but it's still like, you still got to be clean in terms of multi-class racing, even in a sprint. So maybe that's going to be the key tonight, is actually staying consistent, staying clean, and just doing your best out on track.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about keeping out of incidents. So same as any race, really, in a V8, V8s that we spot for our team members. Same deal. Stay clean and you'll get a good result. Same applies here.
Yeah, and I think, even in vet, you can also mention the leagues, Jackals. I will say that. You can say it is vets.
Okay.
But, even in vets, I think that you still need to be consistent, be clean, and be patient too, and be predictable, So it actually has a lot of characteristics of multi-class racing where you got to be predictable, you got to be patient, because otherwise you could end up, in an incident. I think as well, what people need to remember is, the old adage of, if you're not 100% committed to a move, you're probably actually going to be, you're more likely 9 times out of 10 actually going to end up in an incident if you're not 100% committed to making that overtake happen. So let's just see here who might be on a lap. It looks like Braden Sagasar. He's actually yet to set a lap time, but this could be the first one. Apparently, though, this lap time has been a 19-minute lap time. I kind of doubt that, but we'll have to wait and see.
This could just be his out lap if it's a 19-minute lap.
It could be, but Ty Delaney has also set a lap, and that's not his out lap. Sagasar goes 107.488 to go just outside the top 10 behind SimSpeed commentator Simon Mazzomo. Just up the road from him here. Not too far away off the lap time, though. Only about 0.2 off that time. We know what Sagasar can bring to the track, though. He could be on for a top 10 here tonight, maybe even a cheeky top 5 if he can stay clean, like we've mentioned. Interestingly enough as well, 3 drivers have actually not set lap times in this qualifying session, both for GTP and GT3. Callum Hodgkinson, John McHenry, and Jamie Christensen as well. So I believe Christensen is in the GTP class. He actually has a 6K I rating, so interesting that he hasn't actually gone out there to do a lap time yet in this qualifying session. Maybe he doesn't even realize it's actually happening. As Troy Maguire goes P2, 0.03 of a second off of Connor Nixon's time. Nixon's done a 106.24. Maguire's done a 106.27, and there is nothing splitting both of them at the moment, Jackos.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting strategy for Jamie Christensen. Let's see if it pays off. But yeah, I had to.
Nice one, Cotton. Oh my God.
But yeah, it's ridiculously close between Troy Maguire and Connor Nixon. Only 0.02 separating them is, yeah, just.
I'm gonna be honest.
Like a hair.
It's there is nothing. I know what you wanted to say there. I'm glad you didn't say it, but it is literally a hair that separated them. And I tell you what, every time I see Troy Maguire's name, I naturally want to say Troy McClure from The Simpsons, just because it is so close. It's literally just because of Troy Mick, but. As Maguire pulls up on the road, we've got just under 5 minutes now in this qualifying session, so there is not much time for any of these drivers to get a lap in. Both the Delaney boys currently holding up row number 2 at the moment. Those boys separated by just under half a second. But Blake looking to put the moves over his son Ty right now, trying to start at a P3 for both those fishy boys.
Yeah, it's a fishy 2-3-4 at the moment, with Troy Maguire also a fishy driver.
I wonder if there's anyone out there at the moment with their, I wonder if maybe those 4 think they've got Connor Nixon hook, line, and sinker right now, and being right up behind him. I know that one was really bad. I'm sorry. That one was cheap. I will admit that.
Do you think he smells something fishy behind him?
Oh my god. He's got a bit of a maybe he's got a fish taco in behind him. Maybe he's got, you know, I don't know.
I'm fully expecting everyone just to turn off the screen right now.
We've got 12 people watching us, actually, so
With
great to
those
have
jokes.
everyone here. Please be sure as well to get into the live chat here tonight. Like the stream as well as subscribe and hit the bell icon. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will be doing a rig giveaway that we've had sitting in the warehouse for quite some time now. Well, not too long, but it is a brand new rig. The only caveat is you must be subscribed when we do the draw. So once we hit 1,000 subscribers, the draw will happen. And any sort of engagement that we get on the streams, including getting into the chat, liking the stream and subscribing as well, only helps grow the channel and only helps grow the league as well, because it's going to get it out to more eyes and more viewers out there. As well as a massive thank you to all the series sponsors: Warren & Brown Tools, Shannons Insurance, Rare Spares, Tempting Sweets, Grim Industries, and Sim Rigs as well. Michael Whiting on the in the chat as well. Fishy for the win in both classes. Oh, we'll have to wait and see on that one there, Michael. Good to see we got the team owner in the chat. It is definitely possible. I mean, it only takes a stray GT3 getting in the way of Connor Nixon to take him out, or hell, even him making a mistake, and then you've got 4 fishy cars in behind him ready to pounce and get up into the positions.
There was a big crash at the top of the hill going to the last corner for Keegan just before as well.
Let's get it up on the replay
Seems
here.
like he must have lost it. And
Oh, he did too. Oh, that is big. That is a big one there for Keegan.
oh, as we're wrapping up the Fishy Boys, there is a contact between two of them as well.
Let's have a look here. Blake Delaney, Troy Maguire.
It's down at Death Corner at turn 5.
Oh, wow, what a wild ride. That was intense looking for Troy Maguire right there. And just clipping the side of Blake's car. I mean, obviously it wasn't intentional. It was only an accident, but a shame for him, as we are now trickling down to only a minute to go in this session. So these drivers, this is going to be their last chance at a lap here around this circuit to get their best time they can in qualifying. Maguire still only 3/10 away, or 300ths away from Nixon's time, but he's not out on track to out of set one, so it looks as if Connor Nixon may have this wrapped up in hand. Edwards, I don't think, is going to be able to put a challenge in.
No, he just took the alternate route through turn 1.
Well then, that's not going to help his chances, but maybe we can see someone jump into the 10. Yeah. Sorry. We got to get back into the rhythm of things. It's been quite a while since we've commentated together. But Mazzomo at the moment sitting in the 10. Ferguson just outside the top 10. Both of them are out on track as Ferguson comes around the final corner, but it's unable to better his time. He does a 106.9 again, but it's not enough to get into the 10, as Mazzomo actually bettered his time to get into P8 at the end of the session there. These drivers will be able to finish their lap times. This is not a sprint round, so Edwards will be allowed to cross the line, although he's not bettered any of his sectors. So I'll have to see what he can do as he comes into the pits. I think Jordan may have actually crossed the line in time, but his sectors are not looking absolutely smash hot right now, so I don't think he's going to be able to get into the top 10 unless he just somehow finds some uber amount of pace through the back straight and final section.
I can confirm he is not classed as finished his lap, so he's on a flyer now. So we'll have to see if he comes out bettering. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but
No.
crazier things have happened.
Oh, they definitely have. I mean, I have to see what the run is through the final couple of corners as he comes up the hill. I think P11, though, still a pretty respectable start for him based on the fact he has got no practice in him. But he crosses the line and finishes his lap. Does not better it. Goes into the 7s. So unfortunate for him. SRWtv actually hopping into the chat saying, looking good out there. Shame we have a few away for Bathurst. That's totally fine, though. The Bathurst 1000, a massive event. You know, one of the biggest in world motorsport, not just in Australia. But this is good signs, being that we have over 30 drivers signed up for the race. So it could mean we actually have a lot more drivers show up next week when people aren't away at Bathurst. So But it is good to see. So, Jackos, are you able to confirm if we have a warm-up session or if we're going straight into the race tonight?
We do not have a warm-up session by the looks of things.
Okay.
We were just going through the pre-race debrief at the moment.
Very good. Well, now that we do have our qualifying finished, we can bring up our starting grid here for tonight's race. So, Connor Nixon will start out on pole for Vermilion Motorsports, just ahead of Troy Maguire in P2, joining him on the front row. Braden Sagasars then pipped some of the fishy boys to get into P3 for 19 MX Rax Racing, just ahead of Crisscross Racing, Jake Edwards out of P4. We then got both the Delaney boys, Blake and Ty, out of P5 and P6. Just ahead of Braden Martin out of P7, with Simon Mazzomo starting out of P8 here tonight. Adam Simpson will then start out of P9, with Doug Gowans making up the top 10 for the GTPs. We then got Jordan Ferguson starting out of P11 for Velocity Racing Team, just ahead of Cam Hardwick for Velocity SimLab, starting out of P12. All three Velocity cars, although they are different teams, are around each other on this start grid. Daniel Fritz will start at a P13 here tonight, just ahead of Keegan Caldwell at a P14, with Wade Edwards rounding out the grid for the GTPs. Jackos, do you want to run us through the GT3 grid?
We have Adam Hughes on pole. Starting out of P17 is Thomas Freeman. And then we have Greg Barber, Mitch McIntyre, Stephen Brooks, Harry Dodds, Patrick Frame, Nathan Gardner, Aaron Shotter, and onto the next page we have that. Oh, it's all blurry for me.
It's all right. We have Sean Bonici, Alexander Ganotis, Tyler Sheaf, Linton Wills, Marty Mitchell, and then Jamie Christensen, John McHenry, Braden O'Loughlin, and Callan Hodgson. We're not able to set lap times, although I feel as though Braden may be in there. Although he's actually on track, so he is actually racing, which is a little bit annoying because now I actually can't have him on my thing in terms of the timing towers. We've got a massive blink here from all the drivers hanging out next to each other. This is a little bit questionable, but hopefully it will actually fix itself once we go racing. Of course, the GTPs will go early and then the GT3s will start. We have the lights on the screen, so we will be ready to get underway in just a moment's time. It's almost like an epileptic light show with all these cars flashing about on the starting grid, isn't it, Jackos?
Sure. That's an interesting way to put it.
Well, it is. Connor Nixon's just dropped for me there, but I'll wait for him to come back up on screen. I have tried to fix it as best I can before tonight.
Green.
So the GTPs are underway, though, here off the start, as we're under massive flashing conditions right now. I mean, you've thought of rain, you thought of dry, arid conditions. No one ever told you that iRacing had flashing conditions like this. As we come up over the hill and they make their way through.
Oh, big crash on the... A lot of cars involved there by the looks of it.
Oh, it does appear to be so. Adam Simpson's been involved. Hopefully we can actually have this stabilize on screen for us. See, all we can see is the smoke on track right now. Hopefully we can bring it back a little bit later, but a lot of drivers involved in that incident there. Come on, give me a driver that's actually on screen.
I'll look at it. I'll look at it from my end. So it just looks like one of the cars has snapped on the exit of turn 3 and come back. Unfortunately collected a car, and it was just a domino effect from there. You had Adam Simpson, Douglas Gowans, Braden Martin, Jordan Ferguson was involved. Looks to me like all of the cars have gotten going again, which is good.
That is good to hear. I don't understand why this is all like this. I'm going to have to close the stream on my Opera just to see if that actually helps stabilize this. But it sounds like that maybe maybe it's time for me to buy another processor for my computer, because I don't think mine is liking this at the moment, unfortunately. But hopefully we can get it all sorted, get it all fixed. It is annoying. It is very annoying.
Bit of action.
Sorry.
at the front of the GT3 field with
Oh, yeah, we
Mitch
got it on
McIntyre and
screen.
Harry Dodds going wide in sympathy, and
You mean
good
symphony?
rejoin there. No sympathy.
Do you mean
Going.
symphony?
No, he went off in sympathy for him going off.
Ah, okay, I got ya. I understand.
Yeah. But they both did very well on the rejoins.
There appears to be cars everywhere at the moment. A lot of drivers going on and off the track as Braden Sagasar has gone off track as well.
Whoa. That was a weird one.
That was really weird. Both of them have gone off there, both Jake and Braden at turn number 1. Unfortunate for them.
It didn't even load for me, so...
Yeah. Oh, but apparently there's been a big crash. Apparently, let me just see if we can get a replay of it up on screen, see what's actually happened here. Although we might be under safety car, quite possibly. No one
I
could...
haven't heard anything about safety car yet. Do you know who is involved? I can... Well,
so
Adam Simpson just got turned around. Or big crash on the exit of turn 1. Seems to
get it up on screen. Come on.
He seems to have made contact with a GT car and spun around and then got rear-ended.
See if we can get it up for everyone at home. It doesn't want to show it. It's going to bloody scenic cam. It's all it's showing for me is him turned around at the end. As we come up the hill, Maguire leads the way to Nixon. They've already caught the back of the GT3 train. So there are already GT3 cars getting chewed alive right now.
Seems like you might almost need to switch it to view my screen.
Yeah, I know,
But,
which is not going to really work properly because then we're not going to have the overlays, but
yeah.
which is a shame. I think if this continues, though, we may just actually have to just find a fix and unfortunately call it early. I'm not sure. You know, obviously, I want to be able to broadcast this sort of stuff, but I don't want it. I don't want this sort of stuff happening because it actually ruins the broadcast a little bit. You know, which is unfortunate, but that's what's looking to be the likely outcome at the moment. Which, you know, is a real shame, but we're trying to get this sorted out. Yeah, my computer's having an absolute hissy fit, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we're actually just going to have to call it early tonight, unfortunately, because I don't want to have to produce a poor show and have something that is looking this bad. So it appears I'm going to have to do some investigating, see why this sort of stuff is happening. Because
before we call it, we can try change your graphics settings on the fly.
We could do that. And then if it's not any better, if people are willing to deal with seeing my graphics settings on there for iRacing, then we could give it a go. So maybe we just we give that a crack.
I think it's
just
better
quickly.
than seeing what they're seeing now.
Yeah. So let's try and fix that quickly. So
it would be the replay, not graphic.
Okay, replay.
Pit objects you don't really need, so go low.
Yep.
Crowds, I go off. You don't need to see the crowds.
No, they don't. We got virtual crowds. Objects, low
Articles
detail.
go
Medium or low?
medium. Medium. Get rid of hide detail in mirrors because you don't even have cockpit mirrors on.
Yeah.
Take off 2 past trees.
Yep. Let's just see
Try
what
that.
does.
It
No,
might help it out a little bit.
It's not. It's still really bad.
Do you want me to share my screen?
No, it's okay. We're just gonna try and fix this right now. 30 and 12 event.
Turn off full res and soft as well. And the night shadow maps turn off.
I must apologise for all this, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, we are just trying to get all this fixed at the moment. Trying to
What's
get everything.
your?
I don't want this.
Sorry. What's your
No, it's okay.
replay and then do for the pits. Do draw 30 and then 4. And then how many cars do we have? 20, 34. What if you change from, like, on that slider at the top? What if you just go, rather than... Well, this all happened when you press border. See what happens when you do the border back on.
No, it's still occurring.
Something else going on then, surely.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I think we're just going to have to call it here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, hopefully, I can get all this fixed before next week. I do apologise for all the stuff that has happened. But for myself and for Jack and for SRWtv, we thank you for your time so far. There will be updates on if we can get all this fixed. We'll also then update everyone on what the actual outcome is of this race before the next round. Thank you all for watching. We look forward to your time. Next time out here on Sim Racing World TV, Sunday night, the Supercars Pro-Am. Tuesday night, the Supercars Amateur Series. Wednesday night, Shannons F3 Nationals. Thursday night, Shannons GR86 Nationals. Then we'll be back here next Friday night for Warren and Brown IMSA Shadow Series. But for myself and for Jack, we thank you for your time. We thank you for joining us here at SRWtv. Bye for now.
To total one, this is amazing. Up to clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn